we just had a strangely foreboding dev note. Can foreboding be good? Because it's foreboding in a good way. All this and more on the Fuse News episode 258. But first, I want to talk to you about Water Geralt, namely the video that came out on the channel over the weekend. It's how to slay monsters, well, with him. This is a character spotlight on the new collaboration unit that everybody's getting for free within the event that's already live inside the events page. Water Geralt is a really interesting spin on a free collaboration Nat 5 because up until this point, we've predominantly only gotten units intended for use in RTA with one notable exception. Now, Water Geralt is mostly for PvE. And let me tell you, Water Geralt is making waves in both starter teams and late game teams. In the former because of his max HP scaling damage, and the latter because of that awesome leader skill he comes with. Plus he comes fully kitted out with a set of fatal runes that have all been upgraded to plus 15. But I'm talking way more than I should about it because the video is already live on the channel, and I'm gonna have it linked at the end in case you haven't gotten a chance to take a look yet. Now, let's start talking about the dev note for a little bit. I'm gonna have the full thing linked in the description, so if you wanna read it for yourself, you can. The bullet points are as follows. There were a few changes to the rune management system to make it easier to find the substats you're looking for. You can also now farm Hall of Heroes while you're doing repeat battle in the background. Thank you so much for that, John, come to us. As part of the collaboration, there is now a free play mode for Gwen. But probably the biggest thing in the whole developer's note is talking about how the Kairos Dungeon Abyssal floors are no longer seasonal content. Now, earlier in the episode, I used the word foreboding, but in a good way to describe the dev note. Because ultimately what this is something that's going to provide context for future updates. So for now, take a trip down to the description, read the dev note for yourself, check out all that context, and look forward to the future updates. God, I love Transmogs. And these are dope. The Fairy Kings have like straight up Nicol Bolas horns. I don't know if anybody out there is an MTG fan. I'm a big MTG fan. You probably know that by now. But he's also kind of the Fairy King interpretation of the Ultimate Weapon Valkyrie skin, and I think that's just achieved super well here. The Cannon Girls finally have a very literal cannon. This is probably the most literal cannon they've ever had in all of their skins. Plus, something about them just looks different. I think they kind of got a full model redesign. Even their face looks different. The Sea Emperor skin might just straight up be the best interpretation of a Sea Emperor up until this point. It takes the original formula of the Sea Emperors and just improves on it, which ends up being my favorite genre of transmog. Speaking of which, another skin that just feels like an upgrade is the Paladin skin. I feel like this skin has probably the biggest chance to go a little unnoticed by people, but when you're actually inside the game and you're slamming that skill 1 into somebody, it feels weighty and punchy. I can absolutely feel that impact when I'm interacting with the enemy's monsters. And lastly, there's the two-way Inugami, the Maw Watcher. This is so sick to me. I'm a huge fan of everything cosmic horror-y, so if you tell me something looks like it's from the dimension hole, or it's like got eyes on some esoteric knowledge of like existential dread, I'm there for it. And it's a dog. This is the last call for the first stop in Tour of Americas for 2024. It's happening in Seattle, Washington. It'll be hosted by J-Mac and Fairy Law. It's happening at Tabletop Village. Now, this is all going down on the 24th. At the time of release, it's gonna be the 23rd. So if you're not already there, there's a pretty solid chance that you're not going in general, but I wanted to bring it up one last time. If you're able to hustle on over there, I'll have the link for registration in the description. The monthly trial for February is happening on Thursday. That's February 29th. Now, this is a big deal because 4 from Latin America and 4 from North America are going to be competing for some Summoners points. Now, this is the thing that's going to determine who goes to Los Angeles for the finals. The whole tournament is going to be broadcasted by me and Stoic. Come by and watch new and familiar faces battle it out in their first step towards the finals in LA. So, because it's Friday, there's another stream this week. I'm gonna be climbing the ranked ladder with Nock today, and that's happening at 11 a.m. Pacific. But that is not all, because I also need to tell you about next week's stream schedule, because frankly, it's a little bit abnormal. On Wednesday, we're actually going to be streaming at 4 p.m. rather than our usual 11 a.m. And that's because we're going to be covering the Discord Fighter tournament. So if you registered for that, be sure to show up, and it's gonna be broadcasted, so good luck to you. Then, I already mentioned it, but I wanted to say one more time that we're going to have an additional stream next week on Thursday for the first monthly trial of the Americas Summit. And then Friday is all normal, so there you go. There's the forecast for streams next week. And for the video of the week, it's Childish, who's showing off his ranked grind towards Punisher. He cannot be stopped. He's on his way to the new rank. Give it a watch, tell him we sent you. There's that video that I talked about during the episode, and it is Friday, my dude, so make sure to pick up your weekly Devilmon and Rainbowmon if you haven't done so already. Keep on farming, and I'll see you right back here next week for 259. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.